Plaintiff Jay Schumann says the defendant is his brother, and he's 13 years younger than Jay. Jay says the defendant has always been a troublemaker, and when Jay was 27 years old, he took the defendant in to keep him out of foster care. Jay's suing him and his wife for the balance due on a four-wheeler. Defendants Joshua Gilbert and his wife Amy admit that Joshua hasn't always been an angel, but they say neither has Jay. Joshua claims once when he was 16 years old, he was Jay's getaway car after Jay got in a bar fight, and they deny owing Jay for anything.
Start with you.
Yes, sir. I'm 13 years older than my brother. My brother come to live with me when I was 27. Keep him from going to foster care. He's always been rambunctious and troublemaker. He likes to drink.
What?
He got in trouble one time for writing his name on a wall, well, spray painting his name on a wall, and when the cops came and asked him who done it, he said he didn't know. It was his name. I went to pick him up from a party one night. His friends called and said that he was drinking and needed me to come get him. I went to pick him up, and I get there and I asked where my brother was, and they said they didn't know. Well, I started to leave, and where was Joshua? He was in the ditch, drunk, passed out. I mean, he's always been this way. That's Joshua. That's just the way he is.
Starting at what age?
Ever since I can remember.
All right. Give me some background on yourself, sir, or anything else you might want to tell me.
I mean, when I was 16, I wasn't an angel, and neither was he. You know, he exaggerates the truth. He lies all the time. He tells ridiculous stories. I was his getaway driver one time when I was 16.
Getting away from what?
He gets in bar fights a lot. He gets in altercations. You know, one time I was picking him up, and he was running out, and he jumped in the car and said, "Drive, drive, drive." I mean, I was 16.
At the bar, and there was a bunch of them.
The bouncer ran. Security ran. Got it.
Well, there's 8 or 9 of them. You have to do with that sometimes.
All right. Your lawsuit, $2,500 for the balance due on a four-wheeler. Explain that to me.
Yes, sir. On July 2nd of last year, he was going to buy the four-wheeler from me for $3,000. He paid me $500 down with the agreement that he was going to pay me $100 a month. He wrecked the four-wheeler before the first payment was made and never made a payment.
Totaled when?
I believe it was July 22nd, July 23rd.
Sir?
I mean, first of all, it wasn't July 22nd. It was a month later. After I bought it, I working a lot. I didn't have time to ride it much. And then when I bought it, I test drove it, and everything seemed fine. You know, I didn't need to take it to a deep, thorough test drive.
What'd you do to it?
The brakes didn't work. I was riding down the dirt road.
You were testing it didn't work? Why'd you buy it then?
No, when I was testing it, I didn't fully test it when I bought it. Like, I figured it was my brother.
You didn't put the brakes on?
No, sir.
When you were testing it,
I didn't drive it, technically. I just crunk it up, listen to the engine to see how it sounds, make sure there was nothing leaking or anything like that. I figured.
All right, when you say you didn't drive it technically, that means you didn't put it in drive?
I did not.
All right. And why didn't you?
Because he was my brother.
What type? Well, why'd you test it in any regard? You said you just turned it on to test that part. Why'd you test it?
I'm sorry.
Go ahead, sir.
I'm sorry.
No, go ahead.
He drove it home.
Okay, that's what you're supposed to do.
Right.
If your brakes don't work, sometimes you can make it home.
The brakes work.
Oh, you said it didn't.
I'm pretty sure he pulled the clutch, not the brakes.
Oh, you sure? You saw him?
Because I drove the four-wheeler every day with my kid. Oh, no.
You want to interrupt me? See, I was cross-examining him, and you just got to interrupt. So cross-examining goes back to you.
Yes, sir. I'm so sorry.
So how you know?
I don't know that he...
All right, so you don't know.
That's right.
Good enough.
I'm 13 years older than my brother. He's always been rambunctious and troublemaker.
Like what?
He got in trouble one time for writing his name on a wall, well, spray painting his name on a wall, and when the cops came and asked him who done it, he said he didn't know. It was his name.
Plaintiff Jay Schumann says the defendant is his younger brother, and Jay claims he's always been a troublemaker.
And obviously you're blaming the brakes for whatever happened
Correct.
to the four-wheeler. What happened?
Like I said, the first time I took it out on August 5th, I was riding down the dirt road, and I tried to stop, and unfortunately I couldn't. So I swerved and hit the ditch, and it messed up the front end of the four-wheeler.
All right, you have evidence that the brakes went out, I'm sure?
No.
I'm sure you wouldn't come here saying I don't have to pay because the brakes went out. Do you have any evidence of anything that happened to it?
No, sir.
So you could have sold it?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, because I don't know what happened. It's your burden to prove that you don't owe him In fact, you have to prove that he misrepresented the sale, specifically with regard to the brakes. That is, he had to either on his own say to you all, the brakes are fine. Not the whole vehicle is fine, because that's a typical statement that the buyer has to check out on their own. And you're saying all you did is turn it on. You didn't drive it around the corner. You didn't drive it 10 feet, did you?
No, sir.
You just turned it on to hear the motor.
No, Your Honor.
All right, what'd you hear?
A four-wheeler. It sounded nice.
So you thought everything was fine?
Yes, Your Honor.
You didn't question about anything else?
No, Your Honor.
And he never stated the brakes are fine?
No, Your Honor.
All right, then as is purchase, as is means you take it as it is, unless, the only exception is if there's a specific reference to a specific part that ultimately was faulty. Once again, the brakes are fine, guys. Just out of the blue. Misrepresentation. Or you say, how are the brakes? The brakes are fine. Misrepresentation. Is the four-wheeler in good condition? Yes, in good condition, yeah. For a 19, how old was it?
It's a 2003.
Yeah, for 2003, it's in good condition. You might have said, but does it need any brakes? It's pretty old. When's the last time you had the brakes fixed? Well, the brakes were fixed 6 months ago. Or, I can't remember, it's old. That's no misrepresentation. A 2003, you would assume that there are some repairs that are going to be necessary immediately. And you have an obligation to check that out before purchasing it. Well, and you didn't. You turned it on.
He works on four-wheelers for other people, and so we figured it was fine.
Let me let you all go. Judgment for the plaintiff. He has absolutely no defense. He has not proven that you went out of your way to specifically mislead him about the brakes. Have a good day. Judgment for the plaintiff.
Thanks, sir.
I mean, I think he's a liar. My brakes didn't work. I mean, I could have died on it. And personally, I don't have nothing really to say to him.
I just want to tell you, I hope everything that you're all right, and maybe that we can get over this, and we're still family. And good luck.